Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Today is November 11th, 11:11. It's believed that 11 is a special divine number. 11:11 is a portal to divine spiritual energy magnified. What if you believe that today a door was opening so that everything in your life would become what you want it to be? Work flows easier. The work that you love is purposeful, it has meaning. You're doing what you love, and money is just flowing into your bank account. And what would you do if that was reality? How would you be living your life? More grateful, happier, looking for ways that you can help more people, bringing more joy and light and life to your family, friends, community, enjoying more good of everything. Well, I love this little book called U Squared by Price Pritchett. It's billed as a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness in quantum leaps. And the first chapter is the promise. Right now, in this moment, you are capable of exponential improvement in your performance. You can multiply your personal effectiveness, hit new highs, and shatter your old achievement records. The results you can have will be hard for you to imagine. You can become U squared. Well, what would U squared look like? If you square a number, 4 squared is 16, 10 squared is 100. What would U squared be if that was possible? If you could just imagine that divine energy is flowing in and you are capable of magnifying yourself, your results, your energy, every good that you want, magnified by infinite potential. Infinite potential. Well, there is infinite possibilities. There is infinite potential. You just have to believe in it. Let's take a deep breath in and call in that divine spiritual energy. Imagine that it's flowing all around you, and you can imagine it coming together and flowing in like a funnel into the crown of your head. This beautiful lavender energy is surrounding you with protection. It's coming into your mind. It's allowing you to relax your body, relax your central nervous system, and it is tapping into infinite intelligence. You can ask a question and get the answer when you're relaxed, calm, tapped in, turned on, tuned in to that divine, spiritual, infinite intelligence. Infinite, no beginning, no end. It's available to you. Take a deep breath in and imagine that all the energy is available for you to accomplish whatever it is that you deeply desire. Loving relationships, purposeful work, time and money, freedom to enjoy a bigger, better life. The spiritual side of you is here to expand. It's here for fuller expression. Don't worry about playing small. The spirit in you is always wanting more. Look at today, November 11th, 11/11, as an open door, an open portal. And you can jump through that and create what you truly desire. If it's significantly more money, you need to feel wealthy and not worry about bills or paying for what you can't afford. It's all available to you. How would that feel? What would you do first? Imagine what house you would live in, what your business would look like, how you would be receiving your customers, your clients, your family, your friends into your office, into your dwelling, into your world. What does that look like? What does it feel like when you get into the feeling? How great that would feel, how proud you would be. You're in a state of abundance and prosperity and eager excitement. You want to share your good fortune. How are you helping? When you get into that vibrational energy of already having what it is that you desire and feeling truly grateful for it, it just flows. Your life changes. You feel so good. You're not even aware that what you really wanted is already part of your life. It just flows. You become the person that has that dream, that fantasy. Well, when you make it a goal and you start to think from what it is that you really want and start practicing that in your mind and in your heart and asking, wow, look at my life, how fantastic it is. How did I get here? The universe starts to open up and show you the next step on the path along your journey. And don't forget, it's important to enjoy the journey, to be grateful for every step along the way. If you have a deep desire for a particular thing or home or item or material object, once you get it, you'll be happy and grateful for a few moments, and then you're going to want something else. And that's how the universe expands. That is the divine working through you to create more life, more good in this world. So, whatever it is that you desire, feel as if it's already happened. And then ideas come, and then it shows up in physical reality. In the book U Squared by Price Pritchett, he says you don't have to be content with improving things incrementally or gradually. Just as your level of performance can improve drastically, so can your rate of accomplishment. Furthermore, the U squared formula requires far less effort than you've given in the past. You don't have to be pushing, forcing, efforting. You start from the end of how you want to feel. Why is this important to you? What is it that you desire? What is life going to be like once you attain that? Pretend that you're already there. Now that you have what you really want and you're enjoying it, flood your whole system with gratitude. When you are in a deep feeling of gratitude, grateful for your life, loving life, and noticing that life loves you, how wonderful, how grateful. Everything that you've gone through has created your results so far. Everything that you've gone through has strengthened you, strengthened your resolve, strengthened your patience, strengthened your persistence, strengthened your vision for what you truly desire. Price Pritchett says you haven't been reaching your full potential. So far, you haven't even come close. No matter how you wish to measure success, regardless of how you define achievement, you've barely scratched the surface of what you can personally accomplish. But maybe the time has come to change all that. Maybe you're ready to make a quantum leap. Quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of the new physics, quantum physics, the science behind such technological breakthroughs as lasers, television, computers, space communication, and nuclear energy. Quantum physics is described as the most powerful science ever conceived by human beings. It requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time and space and how human consciousness operates. Price Pritchett goes on to say that quantum physics also has staggering implications regarding you, your potential, and the power of your mind. To put it simply, as human beings, we're going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. Fred Alan Wolf, in his award-winning book titled Taking the Quantum Leap, describes the term as the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow. Physicists studying quantum mechanics note that particles make these jumps without apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the starting and the ending points. What's going on here? How does this happen? It's possible for you as an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance. That's where U squared comes in. Notice that most people operate with a mindset that assumes success comes one step at a time. I know in my family, we grew up believing that you had to work really hard. Well, look around you. The people who work the hardest seem to be the ones who have the least money, the least success, the less time to spend doing what they want because they're working so hard. They're just wrapped up, whether it's office work or hard labor. The harder they work, the more time they put in, the less time they have to enjoy life. So working harder is not the answer. and sitting and dreaming and fantasizing about you want what you truly desire for hours at a time without taking action, that also doesn't bring you what you want. Life does not have to be going from systematically from our present level of achievement to the next, and then from that stage begin working towards graduating to a still higher level in the sequence, gradual progress. This is an unfortunate misconception, Price Pritchett says, and it is clearly reflected in the way people function. They go about day to day striving to make incremental gains in their performance. That's pretty routine. That's a pathway of conventional growth. But your life simply does not have to operate that way. Advancing at a measured pace, step by step from where you are to a little bit better, that ordinarily feels easier, more natural, and even safer. Maybe that's the way you've been programmed by your family, by your loved ones, by society. But in certain areas of your life, you can just as easily think in terms of skipping levels. You can move from your present level of achievement to one that is several stages higher directly. You can make the quantum leap. You can become U squared. Instead of accepting present circumstances or being content with gradual improvement, you go for a breakthrough. U squared implies an explosive jump in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. It's a formula for stunning advances in achievement and the realization of your dreams. The concept is one of exponential gains rather than incremental progress. You might compare it to multiplying instead of adding. It means a geometric progression in your effectiveness. That's exciting as well as provocative, but it gets even better. Remember, quantum leaps can come without apparent effort. These are high velocity moves that carry you to dramatically higher performance levels without a time consuming struggle. Quantum leaps seem to violate common sense utterly. The idea of moving to a higher orbit and skipping several rungs on the achievement ladder in the process strikes people as far-fetched, maybe even outrageous. How many times have you thought about doing something and then decided, well, that's not realistic? No, quantum leaps are when you tap into divine intelligence and you get an idea and you take action and you step out and take a risk and you do something that's outside of your comfort zone. You keep your beautiful goal in the back of your mind and you think from that end. It's already done. After the fact, quantum leaps may be viewed as practical, sensible, even obvious moves, but they typically do not come to you as the obvious moves at the moment. Usually it's in retrospect that you perceive their hidden logic and elegance. Invariably, quantum leaps are not complex or intricate maneuvers. They tend to be simple, energy efficient, and time saving. You just need to think on a different frequency, thinking that it's already accomplished. You're already at your goal. You've accomplished what you want. You've attained success. What does it look like? What does it feel like? ask your higher self, how did I get here? And then take action. U squared, the quantum leap strategy, can deliver those special dreams and ambitions that you instinctively feel should be yours. But the breakthrough demands a radical departure from some of your habits. Leveraging up your personal effectiveness by an order of magnitude, going from U to U squared, is not a commonplace idea. You shouldn't be surprised to hear that unconventional success calls for unconventional approaches. Quantum leaps require paradoxical behavior, unusual moves, actions that on the surface often seem to contradict common sense. As human beings, though, we ordinarily go with the obvious. We fall into the habit of relying on behaviors that seem to have worked best for us over the years. When we take an approach that seems to be very serviceable and which enables us to perform well and to succeed, we become very attached to it. We don't readily relinquish that habit pattern. In fact, there's a tendency to follow our favorite approach more and more often, so much that we get better and better at handling things in that same particular way. This adroitness with a certain approach results in our over-dependence on the strategies and on the tactics that it involves. We resist new maneuvers because they make us feel clumsy, awkward, and more at risk. But if you want to accelerate your rate of achievement rapidly, you must search out and vigorously employ new behaviors, new attitudes. You must be willing to break out of your routine in order to make the quantum leap. The things that worked for you in the past very likely could sooner or later lose their serviceability. Even if your customary approach still holds promise for maintaining your present level of performance and growth curve, it may not help much if you want to hit far higher achievement levels. And if you continue to rely on those old routines, maybe even leaning on them most when your performance flattens out or sags, you end up creating a trap for yourself. There's a certain irony here. Your historically most dependable behaviors can become the major obstacles to future success. It's possible for them to cripple your progress. They may stand as personal boundary lines that limit what you can accomplish with your life. Notice doing the same things over and over and over gets you the same results. There is, however, another course of action. It is the way of the quantum leap. One of the things that a quantum leap cannot be achieved through incremental steps or doing more of the same. You've got to shift gears. You've got to follow new patterns of thought and action. The rules of what works and what doesn't always change when you're trying to make a move from normal performance to U squared. Stop and think about, here's the way it goes. More of the same usually gives you more of the same. Sooner or later, you're going to reach the point where you can't try any harder. Maybe your energy flags, your spirit flags, your physical and mental resources are stretched to the limit. Now, if you want to make a quantum leap, quit thinking about trying harder. More effort is not the answer. You have to try something different. Quantum leaps require you to abandon your usual routine, the status quo. Instead of continuing trying what you've always done, maybe with more intensity and determination, maybe you want to try to ignore the usual. Look for a paradoxical move. Try being illogical. Ricochet. If you're trying to climb over the wall, open a door and walk through. If you're pushing against the river, try going with the flow. Use finesse instead of effort. To make a quantum leap, you've got to break out of the rut where you've been running. Second guess your routines. Look at your habit patterns. Overcome your addiction to your old methods and set a new pattern. If the things you're doing have quit working, stop doing them. Instead of doggedly doing it harder, allow yourself to create an opportunity, some white space to do something else. Quantum leaps come when you seek the elegant solution. So look for an approach characterized by simplicity, precision, efficiency, neatness. It will not be as complex or time-consuming as your present struggle. Overall, it will be less demanding of your energies and emotions, and it will probably not be familiar to you. U squared calls for a fresh perspective, a deft move, a path of least resistance. There is a way that you can do more with less. Think beyond what common sense would allow. It's time to start focusing on possibilities rather than on limits or obstacles. Making a quantum leap means moving outside your mental boundaries. If you will rethink how you're thinking, you can multiply your performance potential. You must let your desires guide you instead of allowing yourself to be boxed in by perceived constraints. Quit arguing for your limitations. Seeking the quantum leap means violating the boundary of the probable. It means achieving well beyond the obvious. So don't limit your desires to what you think you can have. Start going after what you want. This means you must give yourself permission to dream, to risk. You must set yourself free. Price Pritchett goes on to say a 10 or 20% improvement is not the idea at all. That would only represent incremental gains. That might be an impressive performance in some situations, like if there were unusual obstacles or a very difficult set of circumstances. But while such a goal might be challenging, it would not represent a quantum leap. Instead of an additional 10% or so, a quantum leap produces a dramatic and multiple gain, an exponential increase. Quantum leaps are by definition rather astounding, certainly unconventional. If you've written down that you want to double your income, what would it look like to triple it? To go to the third or fourth power? What would your income look like if it was 10 times what you normally earned? What if you turned your annual income into your monthly income? Don't think of this as sensible or logical or it's beyond belief. I want you to write down what it is that you truly desire in the present tense. It's yours now. Maybe you write it as along with your gratitude list. I am so happy and grateful now that this dream is true, it's reality, I'm living it, it's mine. Act as if your success is for certain. What would that feel like? Draw it out, write it out. Think from the end. What would that do for you, for your family, for society? Get into the spirit of the wish fulfilled. Your subconscious mind speaks the language of emotion. You get emotionally excited about your goal. It's yours. How would you be living? How would you be feeling? What would you be doing? And then act on the ideas that come to you. That is the way of the quantum leap. Don't save it for later. Don't think of doing it when you have the time and money. Think from the goal already accomplished. And what could you do today that's in alignment with that goal? Thinking, feeling, and acting. Pretend you already have it. What would you be doing? November 11th, 11/11 is a powerful manifesting day. Go out and do something that challenges you. Visualize it. Pretend it's yours. In your mind, what would you be doing? And if there's something that you can act on today, even if it scares you, make sure you do that. Create a wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.